everybody. I can't tell you how many edits I have done. My lighting went out, all the things that makes the video a video was not working. However, I'm moving forward and recording anyway. I want to talk today about identity. Last podcast or last recording that I did, you could check it out on my YouTube channel. I talked about um, really shifting from and healing and becoming aware of your former identity. And so you might say, well, what is identity? I don't think that I quite knew what it was. It was something that I'll fix my hair. It was something that I had to learn over time what it meant. It was a word that God had put in me in the very beginning of my healing journey, and God was showing me identity, and the word is identity. And it is, in short, of course I'm going to do more recordings on it, but in short, it is the experiences around you from your childhood. It is what you were told. It is the things around you and the things that you are told. It is what shapes who you are. And you use those experiences, those agreements to show up in the world. That's that in short. Now, of course, I'm going to dissect this thing so that it can be understandable and palatable. I want to share with you that God sees you not how oftentimes you might see yourself. And God showed me that not only I want you to live your life the way that I see you and not your experiences that harm you, even though they have the power to bring out the best in you. And, I talk about that. But many times our experiences that were harmful, or even the experiences that we weren't even aware that was harmful, has allowed us to become the shaper of how we see life. It has also become the wall that has not allowed us to see the truth of who we are, our true and divine selves in God. And how do I heal from my past, heal from my fear, heal from the generational patterns that I might have took on that wasn't my stuff? How do I come into this new profound revelation? And I want to share with you that it's already in you, that God has already placed it in you. And what I'm getting ready to share with you is how leaning more into that will change the whole trajectory of you for the better. Stay with me because, y'all, I've been on this journey for 10 years. And so just take your time, because I don't expect for you to get everything all in one episode. But it is my hope that whatever I share will deposit something in you to help you, or awaken something in you to help you walk in true freedom, light, and wholeness. Because really, that is our birthright. That's what we're called to walk into. And I'm just helping you come to the awareness that you have the power to unlock a lot of those keys that Jesus was talking about. And so let's get started. So, the identity I created to survive. The identity I created to survive. Now, I used to think, and I'm going to read my story to you, and I'm going to pause wherever I feel led to pause. I used to think the dark place in my life was punishment. And if you haven't been following me, go back. You'll hear how I talked about how now 10 years ago I had an encounter with God because there was a lot of pain and darkness and chaos going on in my life. And I knew that I couldn't keep showing up that way. I knew that what was happening in my life was really me recognizing something's up. And I know something's up with me. What is it? God, can you help me? That really was the honest prayer. And God did, and God has, and God will continue to. And so that dark place was a defining moment for me. But if I'm honest, which I am, that I thought during that time when I cried out to God and God began showing me the truth of the mistakes that I was making, of how I viewed myself, how I viewed life, how I viewed my relationships, how I viewed love, how I viewed money, how I viewed health. That when God was showing me how I thought about those things and how I thought about myself and the process that I took to unlearn that and heal through that, it was dark. It was dark, and it felt that life was punishing me, even though I knew it wasn't, but it felt like it. It literally felt like it. But I knew the encounter that I had with God, the love that I felt was a resonance that I always knew was there. But it had become, when I had that encounter with God, that intervention that I had with God of like, hey, something got to change. And God literally came in. The presence of God was in my car, my mother's car. And I felt this, once again, this unconditional love that was not only so non-judgmental, but it was just this vast presence of love that I knew was God. And I knew that that presence was going to lead me out of wherever I was, which was very chaotic and dark. I couldn't see the light, even though I knew the light was in me. So I used to think that that place was a dark place. I used to think that it was punishment. But looking back, I realized that it wasn't actually punishment, but it was a learning ground for me. Some of you might be in a dark place and you might be thinking like, dang, like this is rough. How do I get out of it? And I've been, afforded and the opportunity to just never give up. I never gave up. I knew that God was with me. And so I knew that I couldn't get out of that dark place on my own, but I knew that I was determined to, and I knew that God could help me. So the season stripped layers off of me that I had been carrying since I was a child. Layers I didn't even know were shaping my identity, my relationships, my choices, and how I moved through the world. The truth is, as children, we don't know we're internalizing experiences and turning them into identity. I'm going to say that again. The truth is, as children, we don't know we're internalizing experiences and turning them into identity. We're just kids. We were just kids. We don't consciously think, I was rejected, so now I believe I'm unworthy. Or we don't consciously think as children, I was bullied, so now I believe I'm weak. Or I experienced instability, so now I must live in survival mode. We don't know this stuff. So forgive that part of you if you haven't. Forgive you for making the choices that you made as an adult that you didn't want to experience, that you didn't like. But you look what the tools that you had, that you were working with. That's why it produced what it produced. And now you've stepped into the awareness of knowing. Over time, experiences shape how we see ourselves. And many of us spend years living from identities that were formed in pain, that was formed in fear, rejection, abandonment, or survival. That was one of the greatest revelations of my healing journey. I realized the root of how I was showing up in life was survival mode. Not because something was wrong with me, not because I was broken, but because survival became the system my body, my mind, and nervous system learned how to operate from. And for years, I thought that was just who I was until God unraveled all of it. Man, when you cry out to God, He sure does reveal the truth. When you ask, when you knock, the door will be open. Healing forced me to become aware of my thoughts, aware of my patterns, aware of my fears, aware of the stories I had unknowingly built my identity around. And the deeper I healed, the more I realized that the identity I created to survive, was not my true identity. That realization changed everything for me. Now remember, I learned this through time. 10 years. Because now I understand something I didn't understand before. The tools we use in one season of life may not belong in the next. Let me pause right there. When I experienced, so let me talk about pain for a bit. When I experienced pain in my life as an adult, that pain hit so deep. But that pain also was that defining moment where I went to God and asked God for help. And in that, God was showing me, right? But to regulate me, there was this sense of survival mode that I was still holding on to. This sense of survival mode, this sense of fear, these old patterns that I used, they helped stabilize me. They helped me keep going. They helped me function. And survival, we have that innate primal part of us that keeps us surviving, right? And it helps us feel that we're safe. It helps us feel stabilized, right? But there was a time where that season was shifting, where I no longer was gripping on to surviving. I was no longer gripping on to that hurt and that pain. I was no longer gripping on to what I needed to keep me showing up every day. I realized that season had changed because I did the work. And now I understand something I didn't understand before. The tools I use that I mentioned earlier, we use in one season of life, but it may not belong in the next. Some tools helped me survive, like I mentioned. Some patterns protected me. Some ways of thinking sustained me during painful seasons, but eventually, healing required me to lovingly outgrow them. And that process is deeper than people realize. It's not just mental, it's not just spiritual, it's not just emotional or physical. Even the nervous system has to learn we are safe now. That has been one of the strangest and most beautiful part of this journey. Learning how to thank the old version of myself for surviving, while no longer allowing survival mode to lead my life. And honestly, that may be what true healing is. And I honestly believe that it is. It's not meant for us to stay stuck where we were, but to pull us through out of just surviving what you experience as a child, or what you experience in your adult life that reflected what you carried as a child. It's not meant for us to stay there. And you might feel like, well, I've been here for a long time. I've been in this moment longer than I can imagine in this healing journey, right? But it takes time. It takes work. It takes vigilance and diligence. And also knowing that you don't have to, knowing that, and I know that it's hard, that God, the presence of God is with you and guiding you. That's why you click this video. For God to show you that you're not in it alone, that I am with you, guiding you in your sleep, doing things behind the scenes that you don't know nothing about. I'm guiding you in the dark. I'm leading you and guiding you in the dark, in your confusion, in your crying, in your misunderstanding. I'm leading you and guiding you, and I'm bringing you into light. I'm bringing you into the identity in which I see you. I'm allowing you to see the duality of you. I'm allowing you to see what you felt, who you thought you were, how you thought you had to show up, and I'm allowing you to step into your true identity, which is how I see you. And all of that, all of you, your mind, your body, your spirit, your physical, body and physical is the same thing. Your mind, your body, your nervous system, all of you. I'm bringing every part of you with you, because God cares about all of you. And not only does God want you to know that, but God wants you to embody this identity, this true identity in you and God. Not becoming someone new, but finally returning who you were underneath the fear all along. I want to thank you for listening to this podcast. If you would like to write me and have any questions, I definitely will do my best to answer them. But I want to stay right here. I want to stop right here, and I will be back for more. And it is my genuine, sincere prayer that you will know that God is with you, and that you receive something out of this recording that will help you along the journey. That's all for now. Take care, and I will talk to y'all later. Y'all will not know how many takes and edits and re-recordings I had to do, but we here, and I'm thankful for it. All right, see y'all next time. Bye.